As we've been moving through the story of God, we've seen it from the opening chapter of Genesis, the opening creation story. We're finding two themes that tie everything together: kingdom and covenant. And now as we press further into the teachings of Jesus, I want to take some time to really unpack some of the things that Jesus says about the kingdom of God. As we look through the synoptic gospels again being Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the first three gospels, they're called synoptic again because there's so much that's similar to them as compared to the Gospel of John. In the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, we find the phrase kingdom of God everywhere. It's always on Jesus' lips. This is such a central category for him. I want to talk about a few dimensions of the kingdom as we see this playing out in Jesus' teachings. I'm going to be drawing from a range of places in the four Gospels and picking up some common themes that we find about the kingdom. And the first is going to be the invitation to the kingdom. How does this invitation to the kingdom work? Everywhere Jesus went in his ministry, Jesus was inviting people into the kingdom. Numerous times we're told that he went about the towns of Galilee, eventually coming down to Judea, south of Galilee, where Jerusalem is, and just bringing this message of this kingdom. The kingdom is here. It's in your midst. Enter into the kingdom. He invites people to banquet with him. At one point he says in Luke, I know people are saying about me, the Son of Man, that I'm a glutton and a drunkard. Now, why would people think Jesus is a glutton and a drunkard? Well, the answer was he was constantly involved with dinner parties. But it wasn't because he was a party animal. It's because Jesus was using these dinner parties as a foretaste of the messianic banquet that would come when the Messiah returns the second time. He's already inviting people to dine with the Messiah. So every dinner party was just another form of invitation into the kingdom. And what's interesting is Jesus invites everyone to the banquet. Not just the religious people, not just the socially appropriate, not the elite. He invites everyone to his banquets. He even tells a parable in Luke 14 where about a man who's throwing a dinner party. Well, it's a reference to Jesus. And this man goes out and invites some friends, and most of them say, I can't make it. And so this man tells his servants, I want you to go out to the highways and the byways and invite anybody and everybody. This is a metaphor of what in fact was going on with Jesus. He came and invited the Jewish religious leaders and others, and many said no. And so then Jesus said, that's fine. The banquets, you choose whether to come or not, but I'm going to invite everybody. What we find as a pattern is that the religious leaders tend not to accept Jesus' invitation. Now some do. Nicodemus and other Pharisees, we're told, would come to Jesus' dinner parties. But by and large, by the end of his ministry, most of the religious leaders had rejected Jesus. But the outcast, the poor, the unclean, they are constantly being drawn to Jesus and stepping into the ways of the kingdom. Break.